Hello friends, myself Salmote KB, lecturer in DHM College, Parvani. I am teaching chemistry subject in junior college since 32 years. Here I am pleased to release my first video on chemistry, and I have selected the topic, interesting topic, so that is chemical thermodynamics. So most of the students, this chemical thermodynamics topic, they feel difficult one, but it is very interesting and challenging topic. You should not feel difficult topic. So I am trying to explain the chemical thermodynamics topics in simple and lucid language. First of all, we will see the reason why the students feel this topic difficult. Because in this topic, there are certain concepts which are imaginary one. And again, in this topic, there are derivations. There are mathematical part, which includes, in that mathematical part, includes differentiation, integration, limits, such type of mathematical terms are involved. So these terms, students feel a difficulty to remember it. But in this topic, there are certain problems which are easy as well as difficult one. So due to the difficult problems, the students feel that it is a problematic chapter and they go away from this chapter. But it should not happen. If you want to join the engineering courses, especially mechanical engineering, you should not move away from this topic, especially in mechanical engineering. So there is one separate paper on thermodynamics. So if you want to go towards engineering side, you have to develop interest in this thermodynamics topic, and we are for that. Here, in solving the problems, why the student feel difficulty for solving this problem? While solving the problem, first of all, you have to write the data for that. Then you have to select the formula. And in the given data, there are certain units which are present in different way. For example, value of R is given in joule and value of energy is given in kilojoule. Student, what does there? They keep both the values in the formula, and if you did the calculation correctly, but you get a wrong answer there. Why? Because your units are different and you have placed units as it is. But care should be taken that while solving the problem, units should be equalized. Either you have to convert kilojoule in joule or joule in kilojoule, and then write the correct unit finally, you will get good marks. So in this manner, certain examples we will solve later on, but that is the way how you can correct solve the problems. But now we are going to learn the interesting topic, so that is chemical thermodynamics. I want to teach this more interesting topic, so that is chemical thermodynamics. In thermodynamics, especially it is a branch of, or it is the topic came from physics. But chemical thermodynamics, this topic we have to consider in chemistry regarding the chemical reactions. We know that in chemistry, various types of chemical reactions are there, and during a chemical reaction, energy is to be released or energy is to be gained. And this study regarding the release and gain of energy is to be done in chemistry. So therefore, this topic is related to chemistry, so that is chemical thermodynamics. That is the actual definition of thermodynamics. It is the branch of science which deals with the various types of energies, quantitative relationship between them, and the energy changes taking place during physical and chemical processes. So that is called as thermodynamics. Here various types of energies which are there. We know that potential energy, kinetic energy, chemical energy, electrical energy, mechanical energy, heat energy, etc. So these are the different types of energies, and in this topic we have to see the relationship between these various types of energies, and not only the relation, but we have to see the quantitative relationship between them. And during a chemical reaction, what the change in energy is taking place, that we have to also see in this chemical thermodynamics topics. Here potential energy means it is the energy which is due to the position. When any system or any body is present at rest, at that time that particular body have a certain type of energy, that energy is called as potential energy. What is the kinetic energy? When that body comes in motion, at that time it should have a certain energy, so that is known as kinetic energy. Chemical energy, especially in chemical substances, they possesses a chemical energy. We know that, for example, so cooking gas is there. If you burn that cooking gas, which contains methane and butane, if you burn it, it produces the energy, so that is called as heat energy. Then electrical energy, mechanical energy, these various types of energy, heat energy, they can be quantitatively converted into each other. Quantitative conversion means what happens actually here? When one type of energy in a specific amount get converted into another type of energy in specific amount of, means in what quantity one energy get destroyed and another energy get created. So that is conversion is called as quantitative conversion, or that relation is quantitative relationship between various types of energies. So that is to be considered in this topic. As well as we know that during a physical and chemical processes, we consider an example of physical process. So that is melting of ice. When ice gets melt, then 6.01 kilojoule of heat is absorbed. 6.01 kilojoule heat is absorbed per mole. And if you consider another chemical reaction, HCl plus NaOH gives NaCl plus H2O. So that is the neutralization reaction. During this neutralization reaction, 57.3 kilojoule of heat is released, and it is shown by minus sign. Absorbed heat is shown by plus sign, and released heat is shown by minus sign. So during such a chemical reactions, what the energy is released and what energy is gained, that relation we have to see in this chemical thermodynamics topics. Now we have to see there are certain limitations of this chemical thermodynamics also. So what are the limitations of chemical thermodynamics? There are three limitations. First limitation is that in this chemical thermodynamics topic, rate of reaction is not considered. Rate of reaction is not studied. Second limitation is that it only concern with initial and final step. Initial and final state. And third limitation is it is macroscopic. Phenomena. We will consider in detail. The limitations of thermodynamics are, in this thermodynamics topic, if when we consider the chemical reaction, we are not concerning with the rate of chemical reaction. At what rate that chemical reaction is to be taken place, is not considered in thermodynamics, because for consideration of rate of reaction there is a separate branch, so that is known as chemical kinetics. In that topic its rate is considered, but in this thermodynamics at what rate that chemical reaction is to be taken place is not considered, but what amount of energy, heat is released or gained during the chemical reaction is concerned. So therefore that is the first limitation. Second is, while doing a chemical reaction, it should be taken place in various steps. But here, that chemical reaction is only considered what is its initial step and what is its final step. What are the intermediate steps which are taken place during that chemical reaction is not considered in thermodynamics topic. Means shortly, mechanism of the chemical reaction is not considered in this thermodynamics topic. It only concerned with initial and final state of the particular reaction. Then third limitation is, it is a macroscopic phenomena. Macroscopic means macro and micro. These are the two words. Macro means in bulk, in large quantity. Atoms, ions and molecules which are present in bulk, it's considered and its study is to be done in this thermodynamics topic. But not the microscopic study. Microscopic phenomena, what are to be taken place, they are not considered in thermodynamics topic. Microscopic means a small one, single atom, single molecule, single ion. Its study is not done under the thermodynamics topics. So therefore we can say that in thermodynamics only macroscopic phenomena, macroscopic study is to be done. So in this way there are three limitations of this thermodynamics. I hope that you should understood all these three limitations and definition of the thermodynamics. Again I will try to repeat it. Thermodynamics, it is the branch of science which deals with the various energies, quantitative relationship between them, and the energy change taking place during physical and chemical processes. So that is called as thermodynamics. And thermodynamics have three limitations. First limitation is, rate of reaction is not considered, not studied in thermodynamics branch. Second limitation is, it only concerns with initial and final state of the reaction, intermediate states and mechanism of the reaction is not considered. And third limitation is, it is macroscopic phenomena, means under this thermodynamics branch only macroscopic studies, means these things which are to be seen by or naked eyes only studied in this thermodynamics branch. So these are the three limitations. Okay, we'll go towards the next point, that is basic terms involved in thermodynamics or basic concepts in thermodynamics. Basic terms. Here we are considering three basic terms: system, surrounding and boundary. System, second surrounding, and third, so that is boundary. So we'll see the first term, what is system. System is nothing but it is the part of universe which is under thermodynamic study. Suppose we are considering a chemical reaction. Beaker is taken and in that beaker chemical reaction is considered. So therefore the system is the part of universe which is under thermodynamic study. जो युनिवर्स मधला भाग आपण थर्मोडायनामिक स्टडीसाठी वापरतो त्यालाच आपण सिस्टीम असं म्हणतो. सिस्टीम इज द पार्ट ऑफ युनिवर्स विच इज कन्सिडर्ड अंडर थर्मोडायनामिक स्टडी, सो दॅट इज कॉल्ड एज सिस्टीम. व्हॉट अबाउट सराउंडिंग? सराउंडिंग इज द पार्ट ऑफ युनिवर्स other than system is called as surrounding. Suppose we are doing chemical reaction in laboratory, then this beaker, these chemicals, it comes under system, but remaining part all in that room, it is also of surrounding part. that remaining part of the surrounding other than system is called as surrounding. Means remaining part of the universe other than system is called as surrounding. Third term, what is boundary? Boundary is the imaginary line which separates system from surrounding. So that is called as boundary. You see here, these are the three very simple and basic terms which are used in thermodynamics topic. One is system, surrounding and boundary. I will try to explain again. System, it is the part of universe which is under thermodynamics study. Surrounding, it is also a part of universe other than system is called as surrounding, and boundary is the imaginary line which separates system from surrounding, so that is called as boundary. Then we want to see the types of systems. Total there are three types of systems. One is open system, second is closed system, and third is isolated system. Here, what is meant by open system? The system which can exchange both matter as well as energy with the surrounding is called as open system. Closed system is the system which can exchange only energy but not the matter with surrounding, so that is called as closed system. And isolated system, and the system which can exchange neither energy nor matter with the surrounding, so that is called as isolated system. To explain these three types of systems, we will consider a simple example. If we have taken a boiling water in a beaker, here boiling water is considered, then we supply heat like this. Here what happens when water gets boiled? Their water vapors goes out from system to the surrounding, as well as when we heat it, that heat also transfer from system to the surrounding, means that energy also get transferred from system to surrounding, so that is energy. Here, so that is matter. Here it is shown by double arrow. Here matter and energy is exchanged by system to the surrounding. Exchange. Dene ani ghene. System can exchange matter as well as energy with the surroundings. So that is called as open system. If we continue the heating for 1 hour, 2 hours, then what the matter which you have taken in a beaker, it will get totally evaporated in the surroundings and no water will be present in that beaker. What it indicates? Here that matter has gone to the surrounding, and the energy what you supplied, so that is also exchanged from system to the surrounding, so that is called as open system. In open system, both matter as well as energy is exchanged by system to the surrounding. We will go towards next, closed system. Here what happens? Here we have to take a sealed container in which water gets boiled, or you can say that it is a closed container. Here also we supply heat. Here in closed container, after heating or boiling the water, it gets evaporated, it vapors goes out, but the container is sealed. It will not go out to the surrounding. But if we remove the heat, these water vapors will get condensed and again come down in the form of water. Means here, matter is not exchanged by system to the surrounding, but here energy get exchanged from system to the surrounding. So this is called as closed system. Means closed system, the system which can exchange only energy but not the matter with its surrounding. So that is called as closed system. What about isolated system? Here, suppose boiling water or hot water in sealed container, but that container is isolated. Isolated means if you consider the thermos flask, you know that it is very routine example in our life. If we keep hot tea in thermos flask for a longer time, it can, that particular matter which is filled in it, it remains hot for a longer time, and the hot matter you have taken in it, it will remain as it is without decreasing in its mass or volume. It will remain as it is. So that is called as isolated system. Means here matter and energy, matter as well as energy is not exchanged by system to the surrounding. So that is called as isolated system. So in this manner there are three types of systems. One is open system, another is closed system, and third is isolated system. Here what happens in open system? In open system both matter as well as energy exchange from system to the surrounding. Its example is boiling water taken in a beaker or container. That is closed system. Here in closed system only energy can exchange with the surrounding but not the matter. Here we have considered the example of boiling water taken in a sealed container. Here matter remains as it is, but energy get exchanged. That is isolated system. In this system, neither matter nor energy can be exchanged by system to the surrounding. Here, so that is the thermos flask. We have taken the example. If our relative is there, admit in the hospital, generally we supply the tea in thermos flask, not in saucer and cup, because if we go there, it should be remain hot, and what the quantity you have taken in it, it should be remain as it is. So that is the purpose behind it. So therefore, this thermos flask is an isolated system because its energy as well as the matter that remains same. So in this way, there are three types of systems. I think you should understood all these things here. We'll go towards the next point. So that is the properties. Properties. Here, depending upon the amount of substance, there are two types of properties. One is extensive property and another is intensive property. Extensive property and another is intensive property. Extensive property means those properties which depends upon the amount of substance present in it. So that is called an extensive property. Extensive property means those properties which depends upon amount of substance or amount of matter present in it. So that is called as extensive property. And intensive property means the property in which independent of amount of substance present in it. This I, we can say independent of amount of substance present in it. So we'll explain it by giving certain examples. We'll see the example of extensive property: mass, volume, internal energy, enthalpy, heat capacity, etc. So these are the various examples of extensive property. What are the examples of intensive properties? Here, temperature, pressure, density, viscosity, refractive index, melting point, boiling point, and specific heat, molar heat capacity, etc. We saw that in the definition of extensive properties and intensive properties. Extensive properties are those properties which depends upon amount of substance present in it. And their examples are before you on the board. We'll consider one by one. Mass is the extensive property. So why it is extensive property? Because mass of the substance depends upon the number of molecules or amount of substance present in it. If you consider 1 kilogram of sugar, if you remove certain sugar and add it in tea, the remaining sugar, its mass will not be 1 kilogram because it is less than that. Because some amount of matter we have taken out, or if you add another sugar in it, its mass increases. So therefore mass is extensive property because it depends upon amount of matter present in it. In same way, volume also. If you consider 1 liter milk and some part of that milk is added in tea, the remaining volume of the milk will not be 1 liter, but it is less than that. So therefore volume depends upon amount of matter present in it, so therefore it is extensive property. Same manner, internal energy, enthalpy, heat capacity. So all these terms are included in extensive property. So what about intensive property? Here intensive property is the property of the substance which is independent of amount of substance present in it. In intensive property, we can consider the example of temperature. Here, if you consider the temperature of water at room temperature, so it is 27 degrees Celsius. If you consider 1 liter water, 1 ml water, 100 liter water, temperature of all these three quantities of water, it is 27 degrees Celsius. Or if we kept the clothes in open for drying, if we dry one cloth or 10 clothes, temperature required will be same. So therefore this temperature is intensive property because it doesn't depends upon quantity of substance or amount of matter present in it. Pressure also same, this is intensive property. Density, what about density? Density is nothing but the mass per unit volume. Density of 1 liter water, 1 ml water, 100 liter water is the same. Density of water is always 1. Mass per unit volume, so that is the density. If you consider density, D is equal to mass upon volume. Again, pressure, P is equal to force upon area. So these are also intensive properties. Same way, melting point, boiling point, refractive index, specific heat, molar heat capacity, etc. Boiling point of 1 liter water, 1 ml water, 1000 liter water, melting point is same. If amount of matter present in the particular system, if changes, its melting point doesn't change. So therefore melting point, boiling point, so it's also intensive property. And about specific heat and heat capacity, these are the two different terms. Specific heat means amount of heat required to raise the temperature of unit mass of substance through 1 degree Celsius or 1 degree Kelvin. Unit mass or 1 gram of substance. Amount of heat required to raise the temperature of 1 gram of substance through 1 degree Celsius. So that is called a specific heat. So it is fixed one. Specific heat of a particular substance is always fixed. It doesn't get changed. So therefore it is an intensive property. But heat capacity is extensive property. Why heat capacity is extensive property? You might have learned in physics definitions of heat capacity, definition of specific heat. Heat capacity means amount of heat required to raise the temperature of given mass of substance through 1 degree Celsius. Given mass. Here mass changes, therefore heat capacity changes, so therefore it is extensive property. And in specific heat, amount of heat required to raise the temperature of 1 gram of substance through 1 degree Celsius, it remains constant. So therefore it is intensive property. Here we can also say that density is equal to mass per unit volume. Here mass is extensive property, volume is also extensive property, but ratio of these two extensive properties, density, so that is intensive property. Here pressure also, it is intensive property, but its ratio is force upon area. Here force is extensive property, area, it is also extensive property, and ratio of these two extensive properties becomes intensive property. Here we can mark that ratio of two extensive properties is nothing but the intensive property. Here in today's period, what we saw here, definition of thermodynamics and its limitations, some basic concepts like system, surrounding, boundary, then types of systems, open system, closed system, isolated system, and the properties which depends upon the amount of matter present in the system. These two types of properties, extensive properties and intensive properties. Here question on board as well as in NEET or CET or JEE may ask especially on extensive and intensive properties. So you should be keep in mind, you have to do study in concern with board as well as in concern with NEET also. So here we'll stop here. Thank you.